Hello YouTube, this is SilverContrail here, and this is a video I'm making right after YCS Orlando. It was just yesterday, and talking about Orlando and what it means in terms of interpreting the format. It's really important. Orlando, you can really start to see a lot of the trends that are going on in this format, in this metagame, just from what people are playing there. It's not perfect, but it is going to help lead up to Nats. Nationals being the single most important event in North America all year, and a lot of people go there. Orlando is, it might be the last YCS before Nationals. I'm not 100% sure. I think it is though, which makes it all the more important. So at this YCS, it's obviously a debris zombie deck. Topped. Won the whole thing. And a lot of people kind of didn't know what to think of it, didn't know what to make of it. It was rogue. People were really confused by it. There were a lot of questions about it, particularly before he posted his deck list. A lot of people thought he was running things like Beast of the Pharaoh. And I remember this from 2009 when talking about original Debuheim, Debris Princess, and that this was another option. You could certainly run Beast of the Pharaoh instead of Dandelion. Summon Debris Dragon, special summon Pharaoh, sync for Black Rose, field nuke, and then in the process, special summon something like a Goblin Zombie or a Zombie Master after the field nuke had already gone by, or Mizuki or something of that nature. Even another Beast of the Pharaoh. And that kind of a strategy was never really built out completely, never fleshed out. And when I saw Debris Zombies, I'm thinking to myself, okay, this guy's gotta be running Beast of the Pharaoh. Turns out he wasn't. In fact, Debris Zombie is a terrible name for the deck. It is very clearly a plant zombie mix. I'm not sure exactly what you would call that, but very obviously it's a deck that uses the plant engine as well as the zombies engine. In fact, and I don't have the deck list right in front of me, so I can't say for sure, but I would be tempted to say that he runs the exact same number. I think he runs a bit more zombies, but almost as many plant type monsters. So I know he ran 2 Goblin Zombie. I think he ran a Zombie Master or 2 Pyramid Turtle, a Mizuki, and then Spirit Reaper. So yeah, he probably ran more. He did run Titanial too. Something I want to say about or talk about maybe later. But this kind of thing confused a lot of people because they're like, okay, well, it's debris zombies. It's zombies with tech debris. No, it's obviously zombies with plants in them. So is it a plant deck? Is it a zombie deck? What is it? It's been really hard lately to define what a plant deck is. And I've kind of wondered about that. People will ask me, okay, what's a plant deck? I mean, you're running, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plant type monsters, maybe Titanial, so that makes 6, maybe Mystic Tomato, that makes 7. It's really hard to define exactly what a plant deck is. A lot of people are more inclined to call it Doppel or Junk Doppel, Debris Synchro or something to that nature. Plant Synchro almost becomes an archaic term when you talk about this. But what it comes down to is a strategy that has fully come to fruition and more or less is missing only 1 or maybe 2 cards depending on how you look at it. And the idea behind it is really simple. Looking at this engine, it does a couple of things. First of all, it has great recruiter monsters. Lonefire Blossom is a great card that can search not only itself, but these other 3 cards. If Lone Fire was at 3, we'd have major problems. Thankfully, it's not. What you have then is great recruiting, and you're trying to recruit non-tuners, which is Lone Fire itself and Dandelion, as well as tokens, and your tuners. So easy access to non-tuner materials, easy access to tuners. Both tuners can special summon themselves. Same thing as Plague Spreader Zombie. And other notable cards like that. This is sort of where you get into the Synchro strategy, which, thanks to a fully fleshed out extra deck, we've got a lot of good level 8s, good level 6s, Formula Synchron, Trishula, level 7s like Black Rose, and we're very close to having Hyper Librarian. That synchro-based strategies can be fully fleshed out to that nature. Where you have Lone Fire Blossom and Dandelion, you can also have Goblin Zombie, Zombie Master, Mizuki, and Plague Spreader Zombie. Basically does the same thing. Lots of materials, the ability to maintain advantage, lots of ways to search them, and realistically, just a lot of consistent synchro summons. These kinds of builds, regardless of the specific engine that they have, all follow the same basic formula. Dandelion can easily be replaced with Doppelwarrior. Debris Dragon, where you would have Debris Dragon in a more plant-specific engine, you switch out for Junk Synchron. And it's a pattern that you could see very well emerging all over the place. Plant decks being tier 1, I wouldn't go that far to say that. Synchro decks being tier 1, I would say that. It's the same thing that Birdman and Tengu are doing right now. Lots of good materials, easy access to tuners, and overall, a great extra deck filled with a lot of good options. Trishula access wins games. Being able to throw Brionic on the field wins games. Being able to make powerful monsters from your extra deck, while at the same time knowing that you can maintain advantage, is very critical. Synchro-based decks are the #1 most played non-theme deck in the game right now, where you have 6 Samurai, Gravekeepers, Worms, just a number of other archetype-based decks. Synchro-based decks aren't that way. And with Hyper Librarian, it really kind of puts a lot of weight on these synchro decks that can churn out Librarian. I mean, realistically, this. And if you put this in there, generally, something like this. That's shooting Quasar right there. If these 3 are in your graveyard and you haven't used their effects, and you have this either in your graveyard or in your hand, that's Quasar. And that really says something about the power of synchro summons right now. The power of being able to have consistent recruitment and consistent plays with that. And it's one of the reasons that synchro-based decks are doing so well, that they're starting to overcome Gravekeepers. And especially when Hyper Librarian comes out, they'll be going above and beyond whatever Gravekeepers can possibly hope to do. It's going to be a very tough format. Right now it's fairly balanced. But believe me when I say Hyper Librarian is set to just utterly destroy that balance. So anyways, that's about all I have for my video here. And I guess that's it. So until next time then.